We should be live already. Hopefully a few people start coming in and tell us if they can hear us and see us, but I can kind of see us. Can you see the live on your side, Ollie?
I can, yeah. I've just joined it on my phone just to check it out.
Awesome.
Yep, all good, man.
Looking good, looking good. So it's a pleasure to have you, Ollie, man.
Thank you for having me, mate. Thank you for having me.
Whilst we kind of wait for a few people to join us on, can you give, well, I'm going to give like a brief actually before I get you to speak about what you do. So today I kind of wanted to speak about services. So service-based business, people who have some sort of service, whether it be a coach, whether it be a fitness trainer, a nutritionist, maybe even consultants as well. So anyone who deals with clients either physically or even online now, because obviously with COVID-19, a lot of people are doing online coaching and stuff like that. So, and that's what we're going to be speaking about, how to get new clients. And I've got my friend here, Ollie, who does a lot of this stuff and is proficient in a lot of this stuff as well. So I'm going to be picking his brains and kind of just having a chat as well. And we're going to be keeping our eye in the chat. So if anyone is joining and you have any questions, then do let us know in the chat as well. So yeah, Ollie, I'm going to give you the floor. Let us know what it is that you do, who you are, where we can find you, and all of that good stuff.
Wicked, man. I'm just sorry. I'm just joining the live on my computer so I can see if there is any comments coming up so we can answer them sort of quick. Yeah, cool, man. So yeah, firstly, thanks for having me on. Quality for smashing out the live so far as well. So thanks, yeah, again for having me on. Yeah, so my name's Ollie. I am a social media marketing agency owner here in London. Where to start, really? Where to start? So, my background is within sales in a gym. So, I come from like a fitness background. So, I mean, since I was young, I was always like personal training people. So, I've always had that mentality from young in terms of like coaching people, if you like, in terms of one-on-one training in the gym. I've done a lot of mobile personal training when I first got my PT qualification, and it was something I still continuously done throughout starting my own business, away from the personal training side of things. Simply before we get into anything, is like when you go from working in the gym seeing 200 people a day to then working at home by yourself, I still needed that human interaction, because I think that's one thing a lot of people take away from this online space is like it can get lonely, right? So although you're on the phone, you're on Zoom calls with people every day, but you still need that human interaction, right? So yeah, that's sort of my background. I worked in a gym for potentially 3.5 years. Anytime Fitness. I basically started my YouTube channel throughout that time. I was sort of within the fitness niche, done pretty well within the fitness niche, got picked up, not like sponsorship deals, like really like in terms of like contracts and stuff, but I got to go to some very nice places and some very nice events on the back of, certain companies seeing who I was and what I could bring to them essentially. Right. So, yeah, that's sort of where the YouTube side of things sort of started. And actually to flash back, I don't know if this is what you sort of wanted, but to flash back to that is when I was in school, I actually started a YouTube channel with a friend of mine, and it was called We Know Mac. And I'm a big like Apple head. I absolutely used to love off like any like Mac videos. So like the old school, I don't know if anyone in this chat would know. It was a guy called Soldier Knows Best, and his videos were all literally just him unboxing like iPhones, unboxing like MacBooks and stuff like that. That's the kind of thing that I was really into when I was in school. Bit like nerdy as well, like so. I was a bit like an in-betweener, if you like. So I wasn't really like a nerd, but I wasn't really like, like rebelling sort of thing. So I was sort of like stuck in between. And yeah, like I I sort of got into that with him and absolutely loved it. And this was about the time, you know, like where you used to do like the setup review videos or like desk reviews. And it was literally just like, yeah, this is, you know, I've got this monitor here, I've got my MacBook in the middle, and that's the sort of thing that we liked. And I just always was creating videos. So unfortunately, like when we was in like year 9, I think we only had it for like half a year or something. He was like, no, I'm not really going to do this. And then, you know, me being myself, obviously within that situation, I was like, oh, okay, cool, let's just delete it. And it's heartbreaking because I know for a fact there's so many different channels literally around that topic and that niche that have probably grown, you know, ridiculously throughout this time. So I literally wish that we just kept that channel and just kept the videos public, but you know, stuff happens and oh well. So, but that was sort of my introduction. And then my YouTube channel, like I said, I actually started it when I was in college. I was learning motion graphics and animation. So one of my like first videos on my channel was just like a text reveal of like my name, and it was just me playing with After Effects. And at that point, it was just sort of like, okay, cool. I'm just putting that type of content out. And then I had to do like a music video as part of the course. So shot like a music video for it. I think that's still on the channel. And it just sort of was like that. It was just sort of like documenting my life in a sense. It wasn't really like, I want to be a YouTuber, like I need to go get like loads of subscribers. It was never, ever, ever, ever like that. And if anyone's watching this and they look back at some of my older videos, there's absolutely like no structure with the videos. They're just like completely random. Me working in the gym most of the time, just like messing around in the gym, to be honest with you, like different workouts, but no real sense of direction or structure in terms of where the videos are going. But I also think this is a really good point to talk about at this point is even when I had no direction of what I was doing, I wasn't making videos for subscribers or to get clients. Because I was essentially showcasing my skills of creating videos, it still attracted me clients. Like when I had like, I don't know, however many subscribers, I didn't have, you know, I wasn't monetized by YouTube. You know, I wasn't making money directly from YouTube, but it still got me out there to an audience that had I not have done those videos, you know, I wouldn't have been in front of those people. So although I wasn't, you know, growing it for that sense, it still bring me opportunities for me just documenting my life. And at this point, we was both working in the gym, me and Mikey, who used to be the manager of the gym at that time. It was just great for the members as well, like because they'd see us, and obviously we're working, so we're very like official. Well, we was never really that official working in there, but we was always like professional, right? So, but then the videos was like me and him like in the staff room, like punching each other, and like again, it like just it was just sort of jokey, and it was like all of the members like absolutely loved it. Obviously, it's not, no one's typing in Olley Thorpe gym vlog or whatever, like it wasn't anything like that, but the members, like they'd be like, that video was jokes, like you like, yeah, I'm not saying like. So yeah, that's how I sort of fell into that side of things. Like I said, like I was always the kid with a camera, so I got into freelancing in a sense while I was still working in the gym. I was creating, you know, I was always known for like video, right? Before like thinking of like social media, if you like, but like video was like what people knew me for. So yeah, naturally I got, you know, a couple of like paid gigs for video editing from online, and then also video production. You know, I've shot a lot of like promo videos for companies, which I absolutely love. It just wasn't necessarily my passion in terms of I soon sort of found out that I loved making videos for myself in terms of having the creativity and being the one that had the final say with the videos. So, you know, like making videos for clients, great. You know, it was amazing to be able to take my camera to someone's shop and then get paid for shooting a video, right? I mean, I learned pretty quickly that with that side of things, I wanted to scale it, right? So even though I absolutely think that you know, I think it's hard to say, but I absolutely love editing videos. But in the same sense, I knew that, you know, let's say on a good week, that if I booked out my calendar to to record a video for someone Monday to Friday, that I wouldn't be able to fulfill those jobs if I was editing all of them. So from like the get-go, I basically was on the hunt for a video editor. So me being me, from the get-go, I thought, okay, look, this is the system, right? I'm going to go and shoot the videos because they're local clients to me, right? Because obviously video production, I wasn't able to go and get a client in Spain or something like that, obviously for simple reasons. But what I could do is I could go and shoot the video. Once I've shot the video, shoot it over to my video editor, who at the time was in Belgium. He would edit the videos for me, and I'd send it back to the client, and obviously pay him accordingly. Obviously take the sort of the difference between, you know, the profit margins and whatnot. But what that then allowed me to do was to leverage, you know, both of our work, because obviously I shot the video, he edited the video, and it took time because I had to find, you know, the right person, and I had the same video edited by 3, 4, 5 different video editors, and then sort of picked the video editor that's sort of suited my style and made my videos the best they could be, right? So that's where I sort of got into the whole making. I wouldn't even say making money online, because there was local businesses, but I was definitely still making money online because I was utilizing this video editor in Belgium, right? Which was like that's sick, because I then also didn't have to sit down and edit all of these videos, and I could still turn around and give this video back to my clients, and they're like, wow, like this come out amazing. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't, like, you know, you're sort of like, oh shit, I feel a bit cheeky here, but it's just like, like then I was able to just pump out videos and, you know, just have videos within my portfolio to, of course, attract new clients. Like that's how I sort of got into it, which then sort of led me down the route of me making videos for people, and then sort of having that conversation with people like, okay, so what are you going to do with the video now? And they'd be like, oh, I'm just going to put it on our Facebook, or I'm just going to put it on our website. And I was like, oh, okay, like how about I put it on your Facebook for you? And then like put it on their Facebook, and I'm like, oh, how about I keep your Facebook active with videos? So like we'll repurpose this big promo video we done, and we'll repurpose it into a like little 10-minute trailer, and we have a call to action and so on and so on. So it was just natural for that in terms of like local businesses. And then, I really got into like social media management. So as I mentioned, posting on our clients' behalf on different platforms, typically Instagram and Facebook. And it just sort of evolved from there, really, from local businesses. I then had some success from that. As I mentioned, I was still working in the gym, and I was earning quite a decent amount, considering I was like absolutely killing myself in the gym, sort of thing, there from like 7 o'clock in the morning until like 9 o'clock at night. And then, like on the weekend, I'd go and shoot a video. Like I said, I tried to automate that side of things. So like, I was like, I can shoot the video Saturday. He's going to edit it like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I can be at work and still send this video to the client. Right. And it was at that time, I'm trying to think. So my first like social media management client was a local business, actually a real estate agent, which is the niche that I've actually recently gone back down into, in terms of me outreaching to clients, not organically people coming to me. And I just started with them, and honestly, like it was just like posting, I'll probably dread to look back at the stuff that we was posting for them at the time. And I was doing it all myself. And of course, you get that, and I'm like, okay, cool. This is nice. Like, I think I was only charging him like £150 a month to post every single day on his Instagram and Facebook, which is like not great, but it's also like, if you got that, an extra £150 a month on top of your 9 to 5 in a sense salary for posting on Instagram a couple of times. It's like, yeah, cool. And it was at that time that I really got intrigued in terms of like, oh, imagine if I charged these £500 a month, and then imagine if I got 10 of those clients. So that's when I sort of got into self-development, I suppose you could say, in terms of studying, about business itself. I was always into business. I was always, you know, as I mentioned before, I was running like my own mobile personal training business at this time as well. So I was doing really well, but it's also like that time for money, right? So I knew that I could build something that I wouldn't necessarily have to swap my time for money. And that's essentially what we're all trying to do, right? And in a sense with running an online business. So the same thing, because I had that mentality of, okay, let's find a video editor to edit these videos. So one, I don't have to do it. And two, I'm going to probably get a better video, and that I'm probably going to get a better outcome than I would if I was to edit it. And I've just done the same thing when it comes to social media. So instead of me signing up a new client and then doing all of the work myself, I would, you know, find graphic designers, find, excuse me, find, you know, copywriters, people to write captions, people, you know, social media managers, that I could, same again, utilize, so that when I bring on a new client, I'm not in the trenches doing the content creation, writing the captions, doing the hashtags and stuff like that. I'm just basically, you know, the middleman, if you like. If you're sort of new to that whole sort of thing, I was just basically like outsourcing in a sense. At that time in the business, I was literally outsourcing. So if I got a client for social media management that, you know, we was going to post 30, you know, post once a day for a month on their accounts, then I would go, after the client paid me, I would go and find a graphic designer that I could get to design those posts for me for, like, you know, a percentage of the retainer that they've paid me. So yeah, that's how that really grew, to be honest with you, just naturally. And then as I was looking, obviously I've come across a guy called Brad Riley. He is in the UK too. He was really like one of my first online mentors, if you like, because he actually had a course, and I was like one of the first people in his course at the time, 3 years ago now, I believe. Still working in the gym at this point as well. And yeah, got on a call with him. Really nice guy, you know, knew what he was talking about. Enrolled in his course, $400, I believe, at the time. So, you know, always been willing to invest in myself as well. You know, flying back to when I was younger, you know, my mate's buying £300 pairs of trainers and I'm saving up for an £800 camera. So it was always like, that was the route I wanted to go, but it was always just trying to figure out, you know, how. Because when I was in the gym, I was adamant that I was going to be like that fitness, not influencer, but I wanted to create like fitness content, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's pretty much how it sort of came about. And once I got into his course, I obviously learned about different ways to attract customers rather than local businesses. You know, instead of having to reach out to people, you know, do you want my help with social media or whatever, you know, whatever I was saying at that moment in time, he actually teaches how to use warm traffic. So for anyone like watching and listening, if they haven't heard of Upwork is essentially like Indeed, you know, Read, trying to think of some other ones, I think the Monster Jobs, or, you know, like a job posting platform. So when someone needs a job done or they need to fulfill a job role, they'll put it on there, but it's more aimed at freelancers. So the difference between me posting a job on like Indeed, for example, is if Sam was to go ahead and apply for it, he'd probably be expecting, you know, to have to come to the office, to sign a contract, you know, to be there 9 to 5, to earn X amount per month, to pay the tax, you know, so like to be an employee, right? So the difference is with Upwork is they're freelancers. So they'll typically be paid per project, or pay, you know, typically on Upwork, you're paid per project, right? So yeah, I basically just come around that. And then I think I was still working in the gym when I signed my first client up using Upwork, which was a $400 a month social media management client, which was same again. I was like, you know, she was in New York, sorry, as well. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, she's paying me $400 a month to post on her Instagram and Facebook. And I'm just literally doing it like on my things. And obviously being like your first, she was being like my first client from like a, you know, outside of my sort of circle. I was obviously doing everything and anything I could to, you know, make that success, and for her to feel like I'm, you know, worth what she's paying me, right? So had a really good relationship with her, and she gave me like an amazing testimonial on like video testimonial, and I still use it to this day. She's an amazing lady, and yeah, she was like one of my first clients, and then I just kept building it through there. Really, just focused on that warm traffic, because the sales side of things, when it's warm traffic, you know, you haven't got to go and persuade them that they need your service. You just got to persuade them that you're the right person for the service, if that makes sense. And if you have testimonials, case studies, you know, social proof, experience, then these are going to be big factors when it comes to, you know, securing those jobs online. And I think having a sales background, I could sort of slip into it very easily. The reason that I didn't scale it so quickly in that first initial period is because I was doing exactly the opposite of what I just basically laid out before, right? I was signing up a client and I was doing all of the work, not necessarily because like I couldn't afford to get someone else, or you know, that I couldn't find someone good enough. It was more so just a mental block of like, she's paying me $400 a month. Like, how can I go and get someone else to do, excuse me, because how can I go and get someone else to do the work and like not do anything?
Kind of like a guilt thing almost.
Exactly, yeah, and it's definitely a mindset shift. And I know people that will do it and have like run social media management companies and have never edited a picture or a video in their life, right? So for me, it was like, oh shit, I've seen all these people doing well and like just scaling through the roof. But you know, it's a business at the end of the day, right? So I was just at that point a glorified freelancer, and I think that's very easy. And I also don't think that's a bad thing, because I was making good money, working from home, you know, doing what I want essentially. And you know, I got very comfortable in that stage. And I think that's something that needs to be said for people online. If they're running online businesses, they're working from home, you know, you need to be able to adapt in terms of, when I was working in the gym, I was like, okay, cool. If I can get a couple more clients, then I could, you know, pack this in, because I've replaced the income I was getting from there. And then when I replaced the income and, you know, quit my job and was able to just work from home, I was just like, oh, cool. Like this is cool. Like I just hit a bit of like a plateau, not necessarily for anything other than just purely my mindset around it. It was nothing else other than, I was like, cool, like I've replaced my income from working for someone else, and I'm literally sitting at home in my boxers with my laptop, drinking a cup of tea. So yeah, that was sort of how we sort of got into it.
Cool. So
I was a bit long-winded, sorry.
let's get into a little bit about strategy, because you mentioned a lot of things that you've done here, and I want to kind of like break them down. We've got about, I don't know, 25 minutes ish, unless there's questions for people to ask. But I want to kind of like break down, if someone has a service that they want to offer, they want to generate some clients. Maybe they've already got clients, and they're trying to figure out, okay, cool, how do I increase this thing? How do I get more clients on board? You mentioned Upwork. Is that the only platform you're using? Are there other platforms people can use? Like if someone wants to, let's say realistically, especially now during, you know, coronavirus, COVID-19, there's a lot of people maybe out of work right now. And they might not even have been entrepreneurs or freelancers before. Maybe they were working for, like you said, you was working for a gym, but they've got skills and they're like, cool, I can actually do this by myself. I can coach people online on Zoom. I can, you know, when COVID-19 is over, maybe I can get some clients through the door. How can people secure their let's say first 5 retainer clients using Upwork or any of these other platforms? What are some of the things people can do to kind of optimize you know, their selves, because essentially they are competitive platforms, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So what can someone do to kind of benefit from those platforms? What are some of the pros? What are some of the cons? Share some of your knowledge on that.
Sure. Yeah. Wicked. So funny enough, I actually shot a video today on how to become a social media manager. Because I see it was a pretty relevant video for this time. I've also received a lot of Instagram messages and stuff saying, "Oh, how did you get into?" You know, I don't really classify myself at this time as like a social media manager, but I guess in a sense, you know, I am within the agency sort of side of things. So, getting your first couple of clients, and that is literally what I talk about in this video. But I think there's the problem. The problem at this moment in time is, yes, there's a lot of people out of work, but there is, you know, hundreds, if not thousands, of new businesses being created every single day, and every single one of those people, so every single one of those businesses, you know, they need help with social media. It's just a fact of the way that we're sort of evolving as people, right? And everyone knows it. Like, even you'd be surprised, like some of the most randomest businesses that just pop out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, of course they need social media. So we actually worked with a sock company at one point where there was like a subscription sock company. So every month they would send their customers a different pair of socks. And at the time when they first reached out to me, I was like, I did not even know that was a thing. So, like, you know, like a lot of people are still stuck in that frame of like, no, there's only so many gyms, there's only so many coffee shops, there's only so many bars, there's only so many restaurants. So one thing is just like break down that barrier of disbelief, because I can tell you now that there is an abundance of clients literally waiting to work with you, and not to like put down on anything that like me and you do, for example, but content creation, as you know, if you're watching this right now, you've got the resources to offer like content creation as a service to someone. Okay, you might not be the most, you know, graphic design person, or you might not be the most video editing person, but like I mentioned before, when I was talking about like building a team around those services, you just need to have an understanding of these services to be able to offer them, because ultimately you need to focus on selling the service and then automating the fulfillment side of things. So how would I get my first? So if I was to try and get like my first client in there, can I do screen recordings on here? Can I share my screen?
Yeah, if you share your screen, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So, I mean, if I was to try and get my first client online, sort of starting from now, I honestly would start with Upwork, no matter what you're offering. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Firstly, I would solidify who you're talking to, because that's one thing I didn't do at the start, and it definitely caused me a lot of headaches and a lot of stress that I didn't really need to have, because I was doing this for that person, 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 and that's honestly, well, it's good, because you're like, oh crap, like this person wants to give me money, this person wants to give me money, like this. But of course, at that initial stage where you've never made money online, then of course you're going to be like, yeah, then you're just going to eat it all up. But it's gonna completely ruin you in the long run. Me, like personally, I know a lot of people that do it very well, but for me personally, I like to be in 110% for my clients. So at one point, I think I had a hairdressing client. I had a product that was being sold on Amazon client, and a real estate agent client, and I didn't really have the time to dedicate to researching each of those niches, and you know what needs to be on each of those platforms for each client. So by sticking to a niche, it's going to be a lot easier to duplicate the process for different clients in terms of scalability as well. So to have that predictability, that you know that you can just bring on a new real estate agent client and a new one and a new one and a new one. And you haven't got to spend hours and hours and hours researching, you know, whatever, you know, what's type of stuff you want to do. And also it goes back to that thing of being like, jack of all trades, expert of none, right? And that's where I was at for a long time. So honestly, the first thing I would do is like really solidify who you want to work with and what you can provide to them. Because once you know that and you have clarity on that, it's going to be so much easier to sell it as a service. It's going to be so much easier for you to scale it in terms of price. And it's also going to be so much easier for you to duplicate it in terms of clients. So if you have that, you know, for me, for example, now it's like I help busy real estate agents systemize their social media so that they can sell more houses. So me, I know who my ideal client is. And then when someone finds me and they see that tagline and that, you know, I tick the boxes for them, then they're going to reach out to me. Okay, yeah, someone that owns a clothing brand might see that and then think, okay, you know, this guy's not going to be a good fit for me. Okay, but that's okay, because as I mentioned before, you know, you want to get as many no's as you can until you hit the yeses, right? And that's just like a sales sort of technique, I suppose. But the thing is with Upwork, and this is why I'll continue to use Upwork, but you don't really have any control over that. Okay, so you can't go on. I mean, you can go on and search for those type of things, but like Upwork, you need to have that flexibility to be able to work with all different clients. But honestly, from my own experience, have what your main service is, although it can be different to, you know, the people that you're working with, if that makes sense. But have that in the back of your mind that that's like your ideal customer, that's your ideal client. And then you can always reference that moving forward, because even if you let the people you're working with know that that is like your ideal customer, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, okay, cool, but can you still help us? And you're like, yeah, of course. Like, it's the same systems, it's the same thingy, but that, you know, that's our typical client. That's the clients that we work with on a day-to-day basis. But honestly, the processes, you know, the systems, the strategy that we put in place are going to be exactly the same. Yeah. So sorry, just to break this up. So I signed up a client last week on Upwork for $600 a month, which is a pretty good price, I believe. Like, you know, you can get clients on there. Obviously, if you've got the authority and you've got the profile for it, you know, you can charge dependent on obviously your service. But for like social media management, I think that you can easily charge like £1,000 a month for it. If you're working with a bigger company. And that's obviously why you need to have a sales process in play. Like, you don't just agree it. Like, I typically go from Upwork to get them onto a Zoom call to qualify them for my service. And if they're not a good fit, I'll let them know. So yeah, what I'd like to do for you guys, if you're obviously watching and listening, is just to show you a quick little strategy, even if you haven't got an Upwork account, to start reaching out to potential clients that are literally warm leads for you at this literally moment in time, right? So if I just share my screen for you quickly, when we see us, we're just going to go straight to upwork.com. Hold up. My wireless keyboard messing up. Hold up. You still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, cool. Sorry, I thought I lost you then for a sec. There we go. Cool. So yeah, Upwork, if you haven't already known of it, as I mentioned before, it's a freelancer website, really, really good site. And you can see straight away, like, I've got an invitation to an interview, which is great, because once you have a profile on here and you've built up some testimonials, some case studies, and, you know, some social proof, you can literally wake up on a daily basis and have invitations to interviews. You can see that this obviously isn't a good fit for me. PHP developer for website. That's obviously not a good fit for me. But the last client I signed up through Upwork actually came from sending me an invitation. So it weren't even a job that I applied for. They had sent me an invitation for it. So straight away, like, you've got UK only. Obviously, you know, the magic thing about this, and, you know, social media and online businesses in general, is like, you don't need to work with people within the UK. You can fully work with people all around the world. And probably 80% of my clients are in the US, or I've had clients in Australia as well, but I don't typically get I don't typically get clients from the UK on Upwork. But yeah, so honestly, straight away, like you can just hit UK only and you can see straight away some of the potential jobs that are going to be on here, right? So if we scroll down, you've got like, okay, marketing strategy and supervision. So all you would basically do is just click onto this. Naturally, I click onto it in a new tab because when I'm doing like Upwork outreach, I would basically go down this list and just find the jobs that I think could be a good fit for me, just on the base of what you can see here. And then, you know, if I'm doing 10 Upwork outreaches a day, then I'll just literally click and just try and build these 10 up like so. So let's just have a look. Copywriter, no. Digital marketing to help with new artist agency, no. Marketing mentor needed for new startup. I mean, that could be, but no, I'm okay. I'm going to leave that one. This is just sort of my general process. Scrolling down. We're a children's nursery group. Yeah, maybe. And then we just do that, right? So now I've got 4 potential jobs for me to apply for. So I'm going to here, I'm going to have a little look. The project involves, you know, I'm just going to quickly search through. The objective for product 2 would be 5 clients over the course of 2 months. Audience are UK, blah, blah. So if I then think this is a good fit for what I can provide as a service, then simply I would just hit submit a proposal. And scroll down, and you can obviously decide if you want to be paid by milestone or by project. Typically you want to do by project, and obviously this is where you can put your bid in. So it's like anything, right? So if these are expecting $1,000 a month, if I then go in and say, you know, 800, then you're like undercutting. So maybe you're going to get eyes on you because, you know, they're going to see, oh, 800 instead of 1,000, which everyone else is doing, or maybe vice versa. Maybe I'm putting in 1,500, and you'd be surprised sometimes they're like, oh, 15 grand, maybe not. If you put like 1,500, for example, same thing. And it's a lot of split testing to see what is going to actually gain you replies on these. And ultimately, like you just want to get replies at this point. So you'll get a lot of vague stuff on here as well, like someone who can manage our social media, who has extensive knowledge in content that converts. Like at this moment in time, we don't know who the hell this is. We don't know what they really want at this moment in time. So this is definitely like someone I would apply for, because you never know. Like this could be like a multi-millionaire that, for all we know, right? So like they're the type of jobs I apply for, and yeah, they're completely warm. One thing I will show you with that sort of being said is if you go to the search bar and you type in something along the lines of social media management, and then in capitals and then www. hit that search bar, it's then going to show you all of the job postings that are live on Upwork that have got some sort of web address built into the job posting. So if you have a look on here, medium.com social network expert. So the reason that's come up is because they've obviously got medium.com. But if you go down, you're going to start to see other things. So about us, hi, my name's Leah, I'm blah, blah, blah. So if you hit more, then you're going to see, if we open this up into a new tab, she's got her website here, right? So why this is so powerful is I can now click onto her website, and I can obviously, you know, we all know how websites work. Let me just hide myself there. We all know how websites work. Straight away, I can just go on to her contact, and I can get her email address here. She's even got a phone number. So if you was like local to her, then you could just phone her straight up and say, hey, like I see that you put a job posting on Upwork looking for help with your social media. I know you're pretty busy right now, but I'd love to arrange a quick, 5 to 10 minute conversation just to see if we would be a good fit to work together. And obviously you can say that exact same thing within your email to these guys, because you're not harassing these people at this point, because they've already put up that they need help with this. You're just beating the other people to the solution, right?
And Yeah, thanks for that. I mean,
Right.
sorry to cut you, but I think it's crucial as well to kind of put your stamp on things. If there's a job there, you need to be aggressive in terms of there's loads of people applying for it. So I like what you said there about
100%.
like doing something that other people might not do. Some people might just be going there, clicking the apply button. But if you know that you can go the extra mile,
Go directly, yeah.
and that
And
could be that could set yourself apart from everybody else applying for that job. So yeah.
and I don't know if anyone has heard of it. It's called Loom. It's essentially like a tool that you can record your screen, and also it puts a little picture of you, a little video of you, sorry, in the corner. So you can actually screen record your screen. And the way that I've implemented this in terms of outreach is exactly what I was just showing you guys, of like finding those websites and going out to them. You can then actually, if you have some sort of case study or portfolio or anything like that, then you could actually start recording your screen and actually bring up their website, because I've got access to it straight away. I was going to get it back up, but no, I won't worry. Because you've got access to it, right? You can actually become that person of authority and bring them value within minutes, right? Because if you've got a good understanding, as you know, me and Sam have with this type of thing, and it's easily learnable. It's easily learned. Like me and Sam have both learned this from online, really, I suppose, like from research, and you know, there's enough content out there on both of our channels for you to pick up the skills to fulfill this service like tomorrow. But with Loom, you can basically record your screen, and what I used to do anyway, or I haven't done it in a while, is you can just record your screen and actually audit their social media right in front of them. And you can use the job posting on what they're looking for to basically script out what you're going to say. So if their job posting says, we need help with Instagram, we need help with Facebook, we need someone to make some changes on our website, or whatever it is, you can actually use that, do a video, and just say, you could just literally go onto their web. If that was the case of, you know, we need help with our social media and stuff like that, because you've got their website as well, go that extra mile, go and create them 2 to 3 graphics for their social media, because you've got everything you need from their website. You can see the services they offer, you can pull their logo, you can you can go ahead, right? And this is something I spoke about in this video, is you can go ahead and create them 2 to 3 pieces of content, and instead of, you know, reaching out to them and saying like, oh, I'd love to speak to you more, like what I basically just said, you can literally just fire them graphics over to you, and just over to her, and say, look, I you know, and become that person of authority. My assistant sent me your job posting on Upwork. Not to be like thingy, but like, you need to be that person of authority, right, as well. And my virtual assistant, he literally manages my Upwork, so I don't do any Upwork outreach. He does all of that for me, because it's an automated process for me, right? But he literally did. Like, he'll send, so I get him to do that as well, the thing that I showed you, where you can get people's websites, and then he can send me a list of websites that have put job postings up for what I offer. So now I don't have to go in and see that he's doing this and, you know, they're doing that. I can literally go, okay, cool. So I know that this person wants social media management, blah, blah, they're hot leads, they're warm. So I can then get my graphic designer, oh, you know, can you just quickly mock up some graphics for this potential customer? You know, I think they'll be a really good person to work with. And like I said, 9 o'clock. my Mac timer. And yeah, so like, that's one key thing, is just like going the extra mile. So, and also what you need to think with that, right? If you have no experience, you have no previous case studies, no previous results. If you literally use that method, right? Use that method that I just showed you, and for the latest 10 people that have asked for social help with social media content creation, for example, if you just do that method and go ahead and create, so don't get your graphic design, obviously, if you're not at that stage, don't worry, like, go ahead and use something like Canva, and put together 2 to 3 images for all of these potential clients. Reach out to them, say, look, I see the post on Upwork. I'd love to work with you. I'd love to work with you so much that I actually went and took the initiative to create some posts. These are the type of posts that if we was to work together, that you would be expecting. What do you think? And if they say to you, like, no, like I'm not really into that. Okay, cool. Move on to the next one. But I can almost guarantee that 9 times out of 10 that they're going to be like, oh my God, thank you. Like, thank you so much. Like whether you work with them or not, right? It's another connection. It's building that authority. And all you can say at that point, like I said, if you've got no social proof, you've got no experience, just say, no problem. I'm glad you liked it. And obviously if they then want to talk about working together, okay, can we arrange a quick Zoom call just to see if we're a good fit to work together? Boom, you've got them on a sales call and you've got the potential to sign them up as a client. But if they're like, oh, okay, yeah, these are great, thank you so much, blah, blah, but we found someone else to fulfill this position. Okay, no problem. More than happy for you to use these graphics on your social media if you want. I've sent them over to you. Is it okay if I use these in my portfolio for my for graphic design? And you've literally made it. Obviously it's around their business, but they'll be like, yeah, no problem, like that's absolutely fine, like they're wicked, blah blah. And you're like, okay, thank you, cool. And you've basically got yourself like a little mini testimonial there as well. Even if they don't want to work with you, it's like, okay, you got that proof of concept, and you can literally go ahead and build yourself a portfolio while you're potentially signing up clients in the process as well. And obviously that portfolio is then going to help in the long run of having social proof as well.
So my last question, because it's hit 9 as well. So this is like my last question, like 5 minutes for people who are watching this, who are trying to like relate this to their business. So whatever it is that they offer, it might be social media, it might be something slightly different. What advice would you give to them to kind of tailor what you do to help them to kind of get clients for their services as well? Because I kind of have a few ideas as well, but I wanted to kind of see your perspective on it.
So would you just give your perspective first? Because
I think a lot of the stuff that you were saying, I think can be used in various different industries. So whatever it is that you
I understand.
Whatever it is that you're whatever is the service that you're offering, it might not be necessarily website design, but you can still use Upwork for your services. I'm not sure what the most popular services are on there. But I imagine that just clicking the posting and, applying through that click, although it's convenient, everyone's going to be doing that. So if you can actually go to the person's website, go to the person's business, try and find out something about their business that pertains to whatever it is you're doing, and then reaching out to them and actually having some sort of concept in mind for the specific project relating to their business. And that can really kind of, I'm guessing, just put you above everybody else, which is what you really want to be doing, especially in a service-based business kind of thing.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And the thing is with Upwork is there is so much different stuff on there. So like when I was mainly doing like video editing, there's tons of video editing jobs on there. But yeah, in terms of how they could use it for their individual business, no matter what the business I run, I would probably be outsourcing stuff on Upwork. So even, and it makes sense why people are on there, asking for social media managers and stuff, because, if they run a plumbing business, like we mentioned earlier in the episode, is they know they need to be on social media. Like they know that it's just like they can't do that. So they're going to be the type of people that are out there putting those job postings up. And it's just you sort of like capitalizing on those. But there is tons of different jobs on there. I know there's a shit ton of SEO stuff on there that would be like ideal for you. That's why I was saying to you last time we spoke, like get on Upwork, man, because that is like just purely on autopilot, especially when you get invited to jobs.
Awesome. I think we've got some great tips there. I like the demonstration as well. And like the whole automation process as well that you've got going on, which is, I think, probably one of the most valuable things that anyone kind of watching this, just to kind of piece it all together. Please, like, you know, if I didn't get this right, then let me know. But I feel like if you have like a very service heavy business, and you can find clients on these kinds of platforms like Upwork, or even if you're finding clients through other means, try to automate the process of getting your clients utilizing, you know, things such as virtual assistants.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're using a model to generate clients, unless it's like really high paying clients where the job spec is just a specialist and something like that, and you're like generating like, I don't know, 2K a month plus clients or something like that, then you want to kind of really be perfecting the process that you're utilizing to get these clients, so that you can repeat that and teach that to a virtual assistant. And then from there, you want to hopefully be building out a team as well of people who can carry out the actual work, so that you are literally just now, you fit the role of a manager, where you're just kind of managing the person who is getting the clients, and then managing the people who are fulfilling the role. And it's just kind of becoming like a whole, you're creating a system that runs by itself, which I think is the most sustainable thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And definitely, I think that's like a key takeaway is, if you want to be a freelancer on that platform, then do it. But if you're using it as a lead generation source for a business, and you know, you do classify what you're doing as a business, and you don't want to be a freelancer that's fulfilling all of the work, then build those systems, record those systems, and then teach those systems. And I think that's great as well, because you can find some amazing people using the internet at this day, you know, even on Upwork. Like, I put job postings up myself on Upwork to find people. I found really great video editors. I found really great virtual assistants through Upwork. So I honestly would recommend it. I know you asked for another one, and another one would be Facebook groups. Same thing again, though. You're just really trying to break that trust hump down, right? So, and it's kind of like common at this time as well. Like, you'll see a lot of people doing it now. But you don't want to be that person spamming. Just like, if me and Sam was to say about like starting a YouTube channel, for example, like, what's the number one thing that people say to not do is not go on to like other people's videos and like, oh, subscribe to me and sub for sub. It's the same thing with like Facebook groups. You want to go in there and provide value, just like you do with the YouTube videos. And if you do create YouTube content as well, it's great, because you can just take like little snippets of videos and put them into different Facebook groups. It all goes back to knowing your ideal customer, because if you know that your ideal customer and you know who they are, then you know where they'll be hanging out. So I'm not going to be looking for gym owners in a social media tips for real estate agents Facebook group, right? So if I know that that's my target audience, then I'm going to be joining those groups, Facebook ads for real estate agents or something like that. And you don't want to go in there and be like, hey, my name's Olley, like, I run a social media marketing agency. If you need help with social media, message me. Like, no, like, you want to go in there and become a part of the community. People ask questions literally on a daily basis. So if you can go in there, and it's the same with like YouTube growth. If someone types in a question and your video comes up and you answer their question, you're probably going to have gained a new subscriber. And it's the same with Facebook groups. If someone has gone in there with intent and they've asked, and this is this may play a big factor to my video that's doing really well at the moment, the how to record a podcast using Zoom, because I plugged it a lot in Facebook groups where people are literally asking, oh, how do you create podcasts? And I'm like, oh, I actually created a video on how to create a podcast using Zoom. Hopefully it will help. And it's great for that as well, like promoting YouTube stuff, but also promoting your services. But with that, I would say, with everything we spoke about before, like, clarifying who you want to work with and knowing your offer. Once you have that, then you can go into those Facebook groups and, tell stories. Don't just be spammy. Like your story will sell it, right? So I could maybe talk about, I used to work in a gym. I used to have to stand out in the rain 5 days a week, handing out leaflets to people that I really knew wasn't interested in joining the gym. So I had to find another way to consistently bring in new clients to the gym. So I deep dived into Facebook ads. I learned Facebook ads on how to attract new clients. Once I'd done that for the gym and I had a proof of concept, I went ahead and I started taking on new clients. Here's some of the results we've got for X, Y, Z. Throw a little screenshot up on there, show the results, because people are visual. Like it's all well and good saying, oh, we got X, Y, Z. But if you can literally show them in black and white, this is what happened. And then this same thing comes with case studies, testimonials. If you can literally show them a screenshot of, I don't know, we gained 200 subscribers in the last 20 days of working with this YouTube channel. It all depends on what your service is. And then you have a video from the client saying, Olley has been absolutely amazing so far, blah, blah. And then tell that story and just say, open to answer any questions that anyone may have. Feel free to shoot them below. You're going to get hate. Like you're going to get hate now and then, definitely, like people, because, people aren't stupid, especially if people do it themselves. They're going to see that and be like, oh, it's clear that you're just hunting for clients. But in the same sense, if you do position yourself as the person, like me, like, okay, it's all good getting clients, but me with my coaching, for example, for one of my students to turn around and say that they've got a new client, that usually hits me a lot harder than it would if I signed up a new client.
Yeah.
Right? So so it's the same with like Facebook groups. Is like, don't go in there intending, obviously, like, subconsciously you're intending that, you're going to get someone message you, wants to get on a call and sign up as a client, but go in there with no expectations. Essentially, just tell your story. Don't BS, like, be real. Like, and that's the best way I felt.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Olley. I don't think we have any questions in the chat, but if you do have any, this is the time to put them in. And also, if you're watching this after the fact as well, do head over to Olley's channel. I'm going to be leaving it in the description. But just to kind of like finish off, again, thanks, Olley, so much for being on with us. This is our second video on this channel, I believe. And we're going to be doing some more as well. Be planning some more stuff. But so can you tell us a little bit about where we can find you, where we can get more information? If someone's watching this, maybe they want a social media manager and stuff, how can they work with you? Just plug all of your handles and let's go and follow Olley and what he's doing.
I appreciate that, Sam. Thank you very much. I mean, my main platform at the moment is YouTube. It's just my name, so it's Olley and then Thorpe, like Thorpe Park. And everything else platform-wise is the same. It's just Olley Thorpe. In terms of services, as I mentioned, our main service is social media management for businesses. Typically working with real estate agents in the marketing side of things, but with social media, we do work with typically like smaller businesses. And for the Facebook ad side of things, we basically only work with real estate agents and e-commerce businesses. As I mentioned before, I was a personal trainer, and my love for coaching has always been the forefront of it. I've had some really good student successes when it comes to teaching them how to get their first client online. As I mentioned, I've also got a video going live on how to get your first client online. But I actually have a 4-week Design a Future mentorship program where I literally break down every single step and keep you accountable throughout those 4 weeks to actually obtain your first client. But honestly, that's not something I really push, but it's one of those things that if someone comes to me organically, in most of my YouTube videos, there's a link. It's basically got a video that you can see if you're a good fit. And if you are, then I'd be more than happy to work with you.
Awesome. We can probably get your YouTube channel up as well on a screen share before we leave. But there's one question in the chat from Stella, who's asked, Upwork. versus people per hour versus Fiverr? Why is Upwork better?
Okay, great question, by the way. Honestly, it's one of those sort of like wishy-washy questions in a sense. It's the same as saying, what's better, Indeed, Read, I don't know. I don't even know any of the other ones like Monster. Like for me, that's the same as saying like, oh, what's better, KFC, McDonald's, Wimpy, for example. Every single one of them, if you can crack it with it, go for it. Upwork is just what I've personally used in the past. I've used Fiverr. The difference, if you want to look at it from that sort of side of things, is Fiverr, people put what they offer up as someone can come on and like purchase it from you. So I use Fiverr definitely, but it's not like someone would go on and put, I need help with social media, and then I can then go and apply for the job. I'd have to be on there as a social media manager, or what I offer as a service is social media management, and then that person would have to go on to Fiverr and actually click onto me out of the however many other social media managers there are on there. And also people per hour, very good. People per hour, I've got clients through people per hour, and it's just one of those things, is like it's just like quantity, right? So if you can send 10 Upwork outreaches a day and apply for 10 people per hour jobs a day, go for it. Like, but me personally is like, I've got the best return on my investment using Upwork. So that's just what what I sort of stick to. But there definitely is doable in people per hour. I'll be completely honest with everyone. I've only got 2 clients through people per hour, but I also haven't dedicated enough time in people per hour because I know that my ROI is typically in Upwork. And honestly, Upwork for me is the best because of the fact that you can essentially build up like your portfolio in a sense on Upwork. So once you become like an authority in Upwork, which to be fair, you do get it in people per hour, but you can get invited to jobs. So people can see your previous testimonials and stuff on Upwork, and then they can literally invite you to jobs. So you can wake up in the morning, especially if you automate it with like a VA and stuff. You can literally wake up to messages saying, are you available to chat at 11 a.m. or whatever, But yeah, Stella, if you're sort of stuck between the different platforms, then I personally would say Upwork because of, that's just what I've done in the past. But I also wouldn't neglect the other and test it, see what one works best for you.
Awesome. No, I think that's some great advice. I haven't done any freelance work myself, but when I'm looking for freelancers, I haven't used Upwork actually, but I've used Freelancer and I've used Fiverr a couple of times. So I feel,
and that's the thing as well. There's so many. So if you think that there's people making thousands and thousands of pounds like every single month consistently through Upwork alone, imagine it, and it goes back to like that whole having a system and a process for it. So it's like, okay, if I can apply to 20 Upwork outreaches every single day, and then know that out of those 20 Upwork outreaches I make, I'm going to get 5 replies, and I'm going to get 3 meetings booked in from that, and I'm going to make one sale from that, then it's like, okay, cool. So instead, it's taking me 20 Upwork proposals to get 1 client. So for me, it's like, okay, let's do 40 Upwork outreaches to get 2 clients, rather than going, okay, let's do 10 outreach on Upwork, 10 outreach on people per hour, 10. And I think it goes to those things of like
testing, what you were saying about the split test. And I think it's crucial that some of the stuff you're saying as well. And I feel like each platform is gonna maybe need a different strategy. So what's working on Upwork might not necessarily work in the exact same way. So if you can kind of like get clients running through one of them, Upwork or whatever it is, and you got a system that's consistently generating clients, then automate that by getting a virtual assistant. Then you can
practice on people per hour.
You can shift on people per hour and getting up there, and then
exactly
the same thing, and then go on to Fiverr, see if you can get some Fiverr gigs going, then go on to freelancer. You know what I mean? And before you know it, you can have a really big business, and then you haven't even spent any upfront money. Really, well, there might be a couple of fees involved with some of these platforms.
So yeah, that would be the main thing as well. I don't know if that makes it look like better or whatever, but Upwork, you do pay a monthly fee, which is like $14, I believe. And then you also pay, and these are constantly like improving and making adjustments and stuff like that. But on Upwork, you pay per connect. So a connect is like almost like a virtual currency, if you like, or like credits. So when you apply for a job, it will say to apply for this job is X amount of credits. So like six connects, sorry. So yeah, obviously you need to work that out in your head. Like, in terms of like time investment as well. So, okay, yes, you might have to spend however many on connects to, you know, apply for 10 Upwork jobs, but you might have to spend double the time on finding the quality of people you would on people per hour, if that makes sense. And from experience, this is just completely just what I've gone through. And like I said, I don't do too much with people per hour because I know Upwork and Facebook groups and Instagram works really well for me and referrals. But what I found from the clients that I did get through people per hour was they expected very low ticket. Don't know if that's because of the platform. And I feel like that's the same with Fiverr. Like people don't go onto Fiverr to find a £1,000 a month social media manager.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like, I mean, I want to go on there and pay not Fiverr obviously for that, but you know, I think that's sort of the thing. So it's the same as like, same as how we was talking about like knowing your audience and knowing your ideal customer. It's also like, I know that my ideal customer isn't searching for what I offer on Fiverr.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. And people per hour, like, don't get me wrong, I've had some good jobs through people per hour, but they wasn't like ideal jobs. And I'm not saying that everyone on Upwork is going to be ideal, but I've just found that the quality of clients that I've obtained through Upwork have been better.
Cool. Some good advice there. And I find the same as well. Like if I'm looking for a certain type of a freelancer, then I kind of know what I'm getting with each individual platform as well. So that's something key to keep in mind. And then obviously once I feel like that's a great place to start. If your services are available, or if it makes sense to be on these platforms, I think that's a great place for you to attack. Like you said, you know, the $14 a month or whatever it is to register for these platforms is a lot cheaper than the cost to kind of like start a website, doing paid ads.
And sorry, just to jump in there, man, as well. Like the method I showed you where you type in like a keyword and www. You're not spending no money on connects. You don't even need an account to do that. So that's why I wanted to show people watching like there's so much potential with no upfront cost. So if you're literally watching this right now, go on Upwork, do that method for me. Like I can almost not guarantee, but it's like, there's a high percent like that way that you don't even need to spend connects on it. So sometimes I'm like, like why would I even apply for this job when I could go to them directly? I can physically, I can send them a screen record. Like I could send them a 20-minute, I could send them an hour breakdown of their whole business if I wanted to, because I've got that leverage because I know who they are. Whereas a lot of the jobs on Upwork, they'll be very vague because a lot of people don't want to say this is our website because they know that they're going to get pretty spammed. Like, do you know what I mean? So some people, I'm not saying like you're taking advantage of them, because it's like, you know, some people go on there and it's just like harmless. Like, okay, this is our website. Whereas some people would think we're not going to do that because
we don't want to get that.
Yeah, because we're then going to get 1,000 different emails, and of course that might be the case. That there's other people doing this method. I didn't just think of that myself. Someone taught me that. So that you're still going to have competition. So it's not it's not like you doing that method, you're going to be like seen as like really amazing. But it's like, okay, how can I put my spin on it? What can I do that someone else isn't doing? And that's why I said about the designing posts for clients was a really, really great method that I'd done. And one thing that I'd done, and this is just to really give some people some like background on it, right? One of the graphic designers that I had, she's really, really good, amazing. Like she makes the graphics that I do look like I'd just done it on paint. Like she is amazing, and she charges pretty cheap because of like where she is in the world, right? Which is good money for her, right? And that's something that we've sort of got an agreement on. So let's say, for example, she creates 30 social media posts for me, for my clients, for $60 a month, right? Let's just say that, right? Which is great, right? So if I've got a client that's paying me X amount and I know that I've got to pay her $60 to, create the graphics for me, and then I write the hashtags, and I have team members now that do that as well. See, if you're thinking ahead, but in the first bit, you haven't got to completely automate it and have teams doing it. Like if you haven't got the financial resource to do so, obviously, like if you're going to do it yourself, then do it yourself. But with that being said, if you focus purely on outreach and then have like a graphic designer waiting there for you. So don't be afraid if you've got no clients to go on the hunt for team members from the get-go, because that is how you can scale it pretty quickly and leverage their results to then get you new clients based off of, that result, if that makes sense. And like by doing that, if you have a graphic designer that she's going to charge you $60 for $60 for 30 posts. If you then break that down, for example, let's say, just trying to work that out. So let's say you break that down into 10. So, okay, yeah. So she's going to do 30 social media posts for me for all of my clients, but I then have the accessibility to say to her, okay, look, I need 30 social media posts, but they're going to be for 10 different businesses. I need 3 posts for each of these businesses. Go find all of them people on that list that have already put out a thing, send all of the information her way. Oh, how long is this going to be? And like you said, there's an abundance of freelancers, graphic designers and stuff like that. So you can have multiple ones of these working with you and part of your team. I could then essentially pay $60 to really, really, really stand out to 10 potential customers without me really having to do much except from obviously reaching out to them.
Wow.
And if one of those clients sign up, then that's a good return on the investment, right?
Yeah, great, really great value here. And I mean, it's just it's amazing. It's incredible how much you can actually do. So those who, it's like you were saying early on, if you're thinking about an online business that you can start, maybe you don't even have a service yet or anything in mind yet, but you just need to earn extra income whilst you're in lockdown or, whatever the situation might be. If you're good at designing and you can design on Canva, or if you use Photoshop, or if you're good at editing and you can edit videos or edit photos or whatever it is, implement some of these strategies that Olley has spoken about. Go to his channel as well. Watch some of those videos that he has there that will kind of help to push you forward as well. And the possibilities are endless. There's so much money to be made online, and it's just about tapping into it. And
sorry, Sam, just to jump in before we shoot off as well. I think that was honestly one of my biggest downfalls, is because I was a graphic designer, because I was a video editor, I wanted to get that was just me naturally wanting to do that. But honestly, like if you're in it for, I know it sounds bad, but it's like, if you're just in it for the money, like I loved working with those clients. Like I enjoyed creating the graphics for those clients. And it wasn't at that point necessarily like oh, I really need this income, and I need to scale it, and I need to be earning X amount per month, blah blah. But if that's the case, then I honestly would look at like the whole drop servicing model in terms of like, even if you don't, I know obviously like it's a bit hard to say that, because obviously you need some sort of background within it, and you need to be able to put out fires if fires happen. You can't just rely on these freelancers to do everything for you, and if something goes wrong, for them to be to be able to put it out for you and to help you. But honestly, like if you can find like a higher ticket service that is online based, then like you just become the salesperson for that, and then almost drop service it. So I know a guy that does pretty well, and he literally owns a website, like a web creation. I don't even know how to say it, like a website creation agency. So he makes websites for people. The guy has never made a website in his life. Like literally, he has never made a website in his life, but he found someone that's really good at websites. He said, "Oh, how much is it for a website?" He said, "Oh, it's £500 for a website." So okay, cool, no problem. I'll speak to you very, very soon. He went out the next day and he sold a website package for £1,000, £500 profit. So it depends. Obviously, like Sam was saying, if you're passionate about something, then turn that passion into income, turn that hobby into an income. But if you're just sitting there and you're like, oh, I need to learn a new skill, to provide income from it, then try and think outside of the box, because you don't necessarily need to go and learn that skill. You may need to learn a good amount of the skill to be able to sell it, but you don't necessarily need to fulfill it. And if you think about it, and I know how you think about stuff, but the way that the analogy I always talk about is, you never see the bar owner behind the bar making mojitos. You never see Jeff Bezos in the Amazon warehouse packaging up parcels, right? And that's the mentality that I've always had with it is, and if we fall back to the video editing side of things, I got a video editor that I knew would edit that video a lot better than I would.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not like, don't just go out and find people and think, oh, how can I make a quick buck and stuff like that. But if you're bringing these people that have got great services, clients on a repetitive basis, then you're within
there's a price for that.
Yeah, for sure. That you're within your rights, and you can create some amazing relationships like that as well. Like my VA, he like amazing guy, got his own YouTube channel as well, like from the Philippines, literally like amazing. But I've over the years trained him, and he's so appreciative of it. And it's also like, for me to be able to give him that, and how grateful he is for that, is a lot more rewarding than like me doing the work myself. I know that sounds stupid, but I can continuously then, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I want to get a new client so I can give him another £100 a month. I could give him another. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? When it gets like that, it's sort of like, okay, that shit's cool, because also then you can focus on selling the service and not fulfilling it. I know that sounds pretty bad, but ultimately that is what you want to do, right? You don't want to be in the trenches, and that's the only way that you're going to scout anything, is to focus on outreach and sales.
Yeah, focus on what you're good at. If you're good at delivering the actual service itself, then do that, and maybe outsource the sales bit. If you're good at the sales bit, the marketing bit, then you can really leverage that. You might have a friend that creates websites, or a brother or whatever. Get on the phone to them and say, hey, look, I've got this great idea. I'm going to market you. I'm going to get you clients. Let's split the money. Or, like you said, there might be someone else who offers it cheaper, take advantage of the market imbalance, and you can just make profit in the middle there. So yeah, some great tips, man. I'm so thankful for having you on. I'm hoping that everybody else gains some value from this as well. And, like I mentioned, if you want to learn more from Olley, he's got his YouTube channel, Olley Thorpe. I'm going to be leaving it in the description. And what I'll quickly do as well is share my screen for those of you who are live, so that you can kind of see his channel as well. So this is Olley Thorpe's YouTube channel. Just hit 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations, Olley.
Thank you
on
very
that.
much, mate.
So yeah, everyone watching, make sure you go and follow him. Make sure you leave him some incredible comments as well. And yeah, we'll have you on again soon, Olley.
Definitely. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. All right, cool, man. Enjoy the rest of your evening to Olley, to everyone watching. Good night, good evening, good morning, whatever it is in your, wherever you are in your locations. Thank you for everyone who joined us live. For those who are watching after the fact as well, thank you for watching and have a great evening. We'll see you soon.